Hey guys, it's Maymay and it is time for another top tip. And today's top tip uses one of these guys and a new camera angle. I have got you guys zoomed in so much, but the reason is so many of you guys asked me how to get a nice smooth drop from your little squeezy drop products. So I'm going to use this one, and I'm doing it like this because I want you to be able to see the side view of what I'm doing because I think that will help. So this is a vintage drop. There's all different kinds of drops. There's stickles, there's jewel drops, there's glitter drops, there's crystal drops. There's so many drops out there. This is kind of the same process for me. This is how I do this. Okay, don't shake your bottles. That's one thing. Sometimes people have a habit of putting a bottle in their hand and shaking it. When you do, it just adds air bubbles to these guys, and you really don't want to do that. So don't shake them. For getting the best result here, I'm going to hold my bottle straight up and down from my paper. Do you see I've got it sitting straight on the paper? And what I like to do is hold it pretty close to the paper as I squeeze the product out. And I make a really large bubble. See how large this bubble is? I want a large bubble. Before I lift up, I release my squeezing pressure and it brings it down a little bit. You see that? I'm doing this in slow motion, which is really impossible. And when I lift to the top, I do a little twist like that. Okay? Now you can see there is a little point there. Most of these products are self-leveling, so that's going to settle itself out over the drying life. But sometimes it doesn't. So what you can do is flick your page like that and kind of drop that down. I changed the shape. I'm trying to do this where you guys can keep watching me. Oh, that works. So I'm going to tap it on the bottom. Let's tap it on the surface. There we go. That's working. This angle's bad. Normally, I would pick up the paper and kind of flick underneath it to get it to drop down. And that looks much better. Never, ever, ever touch the top with your finger. You just can't. If you touch the top, what happens is your fingerprint's left in there because this is not like frosting where you can wet your finger and then touch it. It just doesn't work that way. That is a much better bubble just from tapping it as little as we did. Now, I did that one in slow motion. I'm going to go ahead and do another one in my regular speed and show you how this will turn out. So I'm going to squeeze the bottle, and I squeeze it low and full. All right, and then I lift and release the squeeze at the same time. Okay, and then I'm going to tap it down. And I'm just tapping on the work surface right here, which is making the camera crazy. And let me tap the page. I just tapped underneath the page, and look how that point is already starting to go away. Isn't that pretty? And it'll just get better as it dries, but you can keep tapping. The biggest thing is to tap underneath. Let me see if I can bring this around. Filming this close is a challenge for me. I'm going to take my, I just picked up my pen blade. You could do this with a pencil. I'm just going to tap underneath. And by doing that, it'll help to level that little dot out. There you go. Look, I'm going to turn it back around. Sit it back down. Look, isn't it good? It's beautiful. It doesn't have a point to it. And that's what we're trying to avoid. From the top, let me show you, when you're looking directly on it, it just looks like a perfect little enamel dot. Isn't that cool? Now, you're never going to get them perfect, but that's not far off. What we're trying to avoid, I'll show you, is this. This is what we're trying to avoid. So, that. Although you could tap that out pretty good too, but that's what we try to avoid, is that misshapen. For me, what helps is the fuller base. So squeezing that base fuller. Even if I swirl it like this, release the squeeze. So I'm sucking up the squeeze and then lift. And I do that little swirl to kind of bring that dot down a little bit. So when I go to tapping, and look, I'll just tap with this. When I go to tapping, see? Now notice this one has a wider base just because of the way I smeared it when I did it, where those have a more bubble base. It's practice. Like, this is not something that you can just take out of the bottle and get right. I promise you, you'll squirt 2 or 3 out before you get a really good one. For me, this is my favorite. I like this one second. These are the two I'm trying to avoid, really, because I don't like how wide that one looks. I like them more to be bubbly like that. I hope that helps, and I hope that angle was not the worst in the world. I think it will be all right. So there you go, guys. Another top tip. Hey, be sure to subscribe and watch for more top tips every Monday and Friday right here on this channel. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.